You know, I was looking at that walnut slab we prepped last week, and it reminded me of the first time I tried a deep pour back in my old garage. It was mid-August, 95 degrees out, and 80% humidity. I thought I could just tough it out. Halfway through the pour, the resin started smoking like a frustrated teenager. By the time I grabbed a fan, it had turned into a giant, expensive block of amber-colored volcanic rock.
A smoking table. That's a bold design choice, Tiger. I bet the client loved the post-apocalyptic aesthetic, but seriously, that's the nightmare, right? You spend $300 on high-end resin, and it turns into a plastic brick before you can even get the bubbles out.
It really is a heartbreak. People treat epoxy like it's just glue in a bigger bottle, but it's actually more like a chemistry experiment that's actively looking for an excuse to go sideways. If the stars, or in this case, the thermometer and the hygrometer, aren't aligned, that liquid gold turns into a sticky mess or a brittle disaster faster than you can say sandpaper.
And that's what we're diving into today. The invisible enemies of the maker: temperature and humidity. I think a lot of people get the keep it warm part, but they don't realize that moisture is basically epoxy's kryptonite.
Exactly. Let's start with the heat, because that's the engine. When you mix resin and hardener, you're starting an exothermic reaction. It's creating its own heat. If the room is already a sauna, you're essentially throwing gasoline on a fire. Most kits want you in that sweet spot of 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're pushing 90, your open time, that window where you can actually work the material, is going to vanish.
So if I'm working in a hot shop, I'm basically racing a clock I can't see.
Precisely. And if it's too cold, it's like trying to stir cold molasses. You get those tiny stubborn bubbles that refuse to rise because the resin is too thick to let them go. I've seen guys try to pour in a 50-degree garage, and 3 days later, the surface is still as tacky as a movie theater floor.
Okay, but let's talk about the moisture. I've seen you get almost superstitious about humidity. You won't even open a jug if the clouds look heavy outside. What's the actual science there? Is the resin literally breathing in the water from the air?
It's worse than that. Epoxy is hygroscopic before it cures. It wants to pull that water vapor in. If the humidity is over 60 or 70%, the moisture reacts with the hardener. You end up with a mean blush, this oily, waxy film on the surface that looks like someone wiped a greasy grilled cheese sandwich across your project.
Delicious. So if I get that greasy film, is the project toast? Or can I just sand it off and pretend I meant to do it?
You can sand it, but it's a miserable job. The blush clogs your sandpaper instantly. It's like trying to sand a candle. But the real danger is if the moisture gets into the mix. It can cause cloudiness, or worse, it can prevent the chemical bonds from forming correctly. You end up with a soft cure where the table feels like a pencil eraser forever.
I've heard you mention that even the container matters when it comes to heat. Like, don't use glass?
Never use glass or foam. Think about it. A deep pour resin in a narrow glass jar is a thermal trap. The heat builds up in the center, it can't escape through the glass, and suddenly you've got a runaway reaction. I've seen plastic mixing buckets literally melt and fold over because the epoxy got so hot. I always tell people to use wide, flat plastic containers if they're worried about it kicking off too fast. Spreading it out gives that heat a way to escape.
That makes sense. It's like a crowd of people. If they're all packed in a hallway, they're going to get hot. If they're in a park, they stay cool. So what's the Tiger method for prepping a space? Are you running a dehumidifier for 3 days straight?
I might be a bit of a nerd about it, but yeah, I want my shop at a steady 75 degrees for at least 24 hours before I pour and 24 hours after. The substrate, the wood, or the concrete has to be the same temperature as the resin. If you pour warm resin onto a cold slab of oak, the wood is going to off-gas. It spits out air as it warms up, and you'll get a trail of bubbles that looks like a scuba diver just swam through your table.
So the wood is actually burping into your resin. That's a lovely image.
It really is. And once those bubbles are trapped in the gel stage, where the resin is like thick jelly, you're stuck with them. You can't torch them out at that point without burning the surface.
Let's talk about the cure stages. You mentioned open time and gel. For someone who's just starting, how do they know when they've crossed the point of no return?
It's the thumbnail test. During the open time, it's liquid. You can move it, pigment it, pop bubbles. Then it hits the gel phase. It's tacky. If you touch it, you leave a string behind like a spider web. Do not touch it. Then, once it hits the initial cure, it's firm, like hard rubber. You can dent it with a thumbnail, but it doesn't stick to you. That's actually the best time to add a second layer if you're doing a thick project because the two layers will chemically bond into one piece.
But if you wait until it's fully hard, like a rock, you have to sand it before the next pour, right?
Exactly. Otherwise, the new layer is just sitting on top like a sheet of ice on a sidewalk. It'll peel right off if you hit it hard enough.
We've talked a lot about the pro setups, but what about the hobbyist in a garage? If I can't control my climate perfectly, am I just doomed to have blushing bubbled projects?
Not necessarily. You just have to work with the day. If you live in a swampy climate, don't pour at 6 a.m. when the dew is heavy. Wait for the sun to burn off the moisture. And if you're worried about the heat, mix smaller batches. Don't try to mix 2 gallons at once. Mix a quart, pour it, mix another. It takes longer, but it keeps the temperature under control.
I remember you telling me about a budget resin you tried once that reacted differently to the humidity than the high-end stuff. Is there really a difference in the chemistry?
Oh, night and day. The cheap stuff often uses lower grade raw materials that are much more sensitive to moisture. It's like buying a cheap umbrella that leaks when it rains too hard. A high quality resin, something like ultra clear or entropy, is formulated to be a bit more forgiving. They have better UV stabilizers and defoaming agents.
So you're saying if I'm cheaping out on the resin, I'm basically paying for it in stress and sandpaper later.
You're paying for it in tears, Alex. I once tried a bargain brand on a bar top, and despite the room being perfect, it developed these weird fish eyes, little craters where the resin just refused to flow. It was like the resin was allergic to the wood. I spent 3 days sanding that back. Never again.
Before we wrap up, what's the one thing people always forget once the project is actually done? Once it's cured, is it bulletproof?
That's the big misconception. Even cured epoxy has a heat deflection temperature. If you put a scorching hot cast iron skillet directly onto a resin countertop, you're going to leave a ring. It doesn't melt like butter, but it softens. And moisture? If the wood underneath wasn't properly sealed, it can still move. The wood expands, the resin doesn't, and crack.
So the takeaway is respect the chemistry, buy a cheap weather station for your shop, and don't be afraid to wait for a better day to pour.
Absolutely. Woodworking is usually about force, cutting, carving, hammering. But epoxy is about patience and environment. You aren't the boss. The molecules are. If you give them the right neighborhood to live in, they'll build you something beautiful. If you try to rush them in a humid garage at midnight, well, I hope you like the look of waxy grilled cheese.
I think I'll pass on the grilled cheese finish. This was great, Tiger. I think I'm actually less terrified of my next pour now.
Just keep an eye on that hygrometer. If it starts climbing, go have a coffee and wait. The wood isn't going anywhere.